Yesterday, we started with 64 teams. Today, we're all the way up into the winners round of 16. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the CCL Playoffs Day 2. Starting off with the Bravo streams, myself, Seymour, alongside the wonderful Cambert himself. We got Bama Crimson going up against UTK Orange. An incredible matchup. How you doing today, Cam?
Oh, I woke up with a different energy today, Seymour.
On
College
fire.
playoffs continuing forward here. Yesterday was such an awesome day. Some upsets, some blowouts, really everything you could ask for. And now, as we get to the round of 16, the intensity only goes up and up and up. So I'm really excited for this matchup. I expect great things out of it.
I'm on fire. I'm on fire for today. I'm gassed up for some college con. I'm ready to see it. So why don't we take a look at what we have today in our playoff schedule for the Bravo side of this bracket. It is going to start off, as you can see, Saturday, April the 17th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's right now, round of 16. Following up after this, quarterfinal number 1, then quarterfinal number 2. Previous to that, we're going to hop down into the losers bracket and watch lower round 5, 6, and 7 simultaneously to set up for our Sunday matches tomorrow for that championship Sunday. But today, like I said, we get to start off with that round of 16. Let's take a look at our bracket so that we can see just where we are lining up right away ahead of us. You see it, round of 16 on that Bravo highlight. Bama Crimson, the number 4 seed, 10-4 up against UTK Orange, the number 3 seed, 14-3 for themselves. And honestly, I want to take a look at what the predictions are for this matchup because I'm a little curious at who people have. And 67% of people say that Bama Crimson are going to take this. And as I expected, as we're running through this bracket, the predictions are starting to get a little bit tighter, Cam.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And to kind of go back and you can see the journey they've had to get to this point as well. They've been kind of blessed. Sheridan not obviously playing, so they get to go against JCSU in that next round. Easy 3-0 to get to this point. Last year for Bama, they fell in round 1. They had to make the run through losers, so this is so much of a better spot for them to be in the round of 16. Really think this is a big opportunity. Both teams have to be licking their chops at this one.
And you have to say, I mean, Bama Crimson is still with that sponge underneath them. So if they ever drop into the losers bracket, they have a chance down there to run still. It wouldn't be the end of the line for themselves. And the same goes for UTK Orange. You can see where they came from as well, all the way on that Friday match at 7 p.m. They played their sister team, UTK White, 3-0 for the Orange squad, and they moved on to the McMaster Marauders, which was close, a lot tighter than the Bama Crimson side. But honestly, UTK Orange, they took one of the search and destroys, which really is going to be a feel-good map going into this Bama Crimson matchup. I feel like UTK, after a hot 3-2 victory over the McMaster Marauders, they are going to be on fire today. And Bama Crimson, get better watch out because they're coming off of a 3-0, so a little bit less hype of a matchup for themselves, but still coming on top of that. And if you're wondering as well, our sister stream, the Delta stream, in fact, it is going to be Ottawa Gold versus GVSU over in that bracket. Over in the bracket on the winner's side, so you can see highlighted now on your screen. Ottawa Gold 17-0, GVSU Blue 8-6. It's going to be incredible over there, and we're hoping to hop into those matches as everything unfolds. But Cameron, before we hop into this matchup between Bama Crimson and UTK Orange, I want to hear from you for this bracket. What's kind of on your mind right now for these teams?
Like I'm saying, I mean, the whole bracket, there's just been a lot going on. You've had upsets last night to end things off. You had SIUE Red with a big win over UTD Orange. I think that was a big bracket buster for a lot of people. Yeah, you have some 3-0s, but you also have some 3-2s. And then for even the matchup that we're doing right now, like you said, UTK Orange, they go to round 5 with Mac Marauders. On the other side, Bama gets a 3-0 to get to this point. So kind of two different sides of the coin. But I think for UTK, there's a lot to take away from it. Spoke with a player before the match. He's saying that going to that Game 5, winning that Raid Search and Destroy on one of their weaker maps and modes is a big confidence builder for them. Because again, in this series, we could see this go to Game 5. So both of these teams going to have to be ready to have that clutch gene in their back pocket, to have that composure if it goes into those later stages. And UTK, they have it right now.
It's been all playoff long so far. Yesterday on Friday, I mean, ice is the name of the game, and clutch is the factor that the teams are coming into the playoffs with. So I don't want to hop off. Let's introduce this Bama Crimson squad, your home team, all the way from the University of Alabama. And the Crimson squad, look at made up of K2K, Click, Matt Honcho himself, and Nix, the senior, coming off of a really good season, 37-13 in their map count, 10-4 in their series count, with a plus 74 difference in their hard points. So only 30 points away from getting an average of 100 point clubs every year.
Yeah,
every game.
like I mentioned last year, they lost in the first round, so they're really trying to make a better run here in winners, and they got a good chance to do it. I think you look at the stats right there. Hardpoint is obviously going to be really important. They need to win this first map because the search and destroy, there's a bit of a fall off for UTK. I think that's going to be the big one to circle. Map 2. And if it goes to map 5, they're really going to need to win the search and destroys against this Bama Crimson squad because they've been so good in the hard points and the controls. They like to run 3 submachine guns. They'd really like to be in your face playing aggressive. So for UTK Orange, going to have to be ready for it.
UTK Orange, they got to be on their toes. They got to be lined up. Let's take a look at our away team, the University of Tennessee Knoxville Orange squad. The season stats 14-3, 45-12 in those maps. And they're made up of Alistro, Slayin, Revised, and Goose Vava. I've seen this team before. I've seen them play on Cold War, Cam. This is going to be a tough match for University of Alabama Crimson. So why don't we talk a little bit of this UTK squad?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think for them, it's, a more well-rounded approach in terms of the team. Hardpoint, obviously, still a great mode for them as well. I mean, like I say, Bama's going to be trying to bring the aggression. For UTK, it's going to be managing the map, managing your rotations, having that play into your favor. If they over-aggress on you, if they overextend in a situation, make them pay for it. Hit that rotation early. If it comes to search and destroy, draw out some of these rounds to make Bama uncomfortable, slow things down a little bit. I think that's going to be your bread and butter in this one. But again, really going to be paying attention to the search and destroys. I think those are the swing maps in this series. And again, I really think we could be seeing one head down the stretch.
I think this could go down the stretch as well. It has the making of a map 5 across the series. And a lot of people say that a lot in Call of Duty, but this, I mean, the stats, they're telling us. I mean, even across the vetoes, you take a look above my head and it's going to be Raid, Moscow, Checkmate, Garrison, and Checkmate. And back and forth, these teams have good stats across the whole thing, very consistent. So this isn't really going to come down to the vetoes. It's going to come down to the fundamentals. So whenever it comes down to fundamentals between both of these teams, I have to say it has the making of a distance match.
Yeah, and I mentioned there's typically one main AR for Bama, and that's going to be Honcho. He's going to have a big series as well, anchoring down spawns and everything like that. I mean, the Garrison Hardpoint in map 4, that's going to be a favorite for Bama Crimson. They like to use those 3 subs. That's a close quarters map where they can really have a field day. Feels like this raid hardpoint is one. If UTK is going to pull out one of these hardpoints, that's the one they're going to need to get in this opening map. But for Bama, they don't want to fall back on search and destroy and need to win it, so they're going to be trying to win this first one as well. There's really so many different ways to look at it. And obviously, raid hardpoint, those money hills, 2, 3, and 4, you got to be rotating to those. If you can get one money hill, and the other team, they have to trade it back with a money hill of their own. So rotation's really going to be huge here in map 1.
It's definitely, you make a good statement talking about Honcho, the head AR of Bama Crimson, sometimes the only AR of Crimson. It goes to show that they're a very aggressive team. And seeing the maps ahead of us, it's definitely going to have a lot of aggression between them. None of these maps are really slow maps. So UTK Orange, when you're talking about this squad, who's on your eyes to slow down Bama Crimson?
Yeah, I mean, you got Goose Fava. He's really the only returning player from last year. So in terms of the experience, definitely going to be an important player. And then obviously your IGLs are so huge, especially when you get into the playoffs. The guy calling the shots, keeping everybody level and composed, that's going to be revised. So if things start to get a little bit hectic, we'll have to see how they do it at resetting, taking a deep breath, making sure that the comms stay in check. It's not too hectic in the team speak so that everybody can kind of hear what each other is saying. And yeah, it's really going to be revised to be like, hey guys, time to rotate. Fine, we lost that battle. Let's just get over to the next one.
Fired up, ready to see UTK bounce against Bama Crimson here. Both teams going for pound for pound. And as you know, as we stated before, raid hardpoint is going to be our map number 1. And while we're getting these players in, ready to get in the series, Cam. I mean, you already say this is a Money Hill team, but right off the bat, right off the rip for these squads, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I think it's going to be UTK having to play more of the team game. And then for Bama, they're going to want to be the aggressors. They're going to want to set the tone, the pace of play. They're going to come hot out of the gates. That's what they like to do. So if you're UTK, if you do go down early, again, you're going to have to hit that reset button. You're going to have to be able to regain and make your way back into it because you know Bama's going to come out swinging. And again, you can play that into your favor. You can, okay, these guys are hitting for this final 20 seconds. That's probably a mistake. Let's make it costly for them. Let's spawn them out at the old hill. Let's rotate early. So I really think map management is going to be the key for UTK. And then on the other side of things, it's what you've done all season long for Bama. Just be the aggressors, be in their face. Don't give them any chance to breathe.
Be the bullies. Be the bullies. Just honestly, scrapyard fight for Bama Crimson here. And raid, and it's very possible that when you overexert yourself onto a hill, you might spawn out, and that's going to cost you in a lot of the stuff. So definitely big on map management for a map like raid. But I think it's further ado that we hop into this map. We see raid hardpoint, and we finally go toe-to-toe between this round 16 map between Bama Crimson and UTK Orange. It is going to take a little bit of a second, though, as we are waiting for one single player here, Cam. Anything else to highlight in this series between these teams that are very significant, maybe across even the opposite maps than map 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the way they ended the regular season, both teams are coming off a loss. And I said this a lot yesterday that in a lot of ways you might see that as a negative. To me, I think losses are almost a positive, right? We learn from mistakes. That's how we get better. So I think that could be something where they probably looked back on some of those VODs. For UTK, it was a loss to to Concord Gray. Really not a team you want to be losing to, but I'm sure for them, right? Like it's a big wake up call going into the playoffs. So I'm sure they learned some things from that. And then for Bama, you lose to a very strong team in Eagles Cod Gold. So again, learning curve moments for both teams coming into the playoffs. We'll see how much studying they've done. I think for Bama and talking to some of the players, they're more of a just show up on game day, be the better team, trust in the talent and the firepower that they have. That's kind of been their MO all season long. Just we're going to just put the ball in your court and see how you react to it. So it's going to be UTK's opportunity, really, to be the ones who hit it back into the other side of the court with an even harder spike.
100%. I mean, you learn the most from your losses or
Right.
over wins. And so definitely both these teams looking to bounce back right here. And if you're just joining in for the Bravo stream, we are going between Bama Crimson, UTK Orange in the winners series of round 16. So we have climbed all the way up into this round 16 best of 5. UTK Orange, once again, just coming off of a 3-2 victory over the McMaster Marauders. Bama Crimson coming off a 3-0 over JCSU Esports. We will head to a little bit of a break here, but while we're getting these players in, as we are having a little bit of lobby issues. But as soon as we get these players in, we're going to hop in with this raid hardpoint.
I feel like a little kid on Christmas, man. Come on. This really is the box of glory, bro. I feel good, man. Bro, it has the Dallas Empire engraved on it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like, this is a beauty, man. It really is. See, this is the type of things that I play for, man. It's not about the money. It's about, you know what I'm saying, man. I think you guys know what I'm saying. This is great for me. It truly is. It has my name written in it. I have 3 words. I am grateful, and that is all I can really say.
No one can buy a kill. Clay gets another. Seems good for now. Mac finds another kill. There is less than 20 seconds remaining.
Orbs on left, player left. I'm about to go prone and chow ladder.
Weak dead on tail.
Flying ladder.
Push it
One shot,
back.
one shot. Okay.
I'm setting down time.
ASD, Dashy, ASD, Dashy.
Setting down time.
ASD,
in the
Dashy.
stairs.
Look, ASD.
Push you, Clay.
One
Close
shot.
behind me.
I'm trying to
There,
run.
got
I'm
it.
trying to run.
Okay. Oh, no. One
No
more
contest.
back
Still
stairs.
2 seconds on the clock. You gotta
come
go,
down,
baby.
come
You gotta
Come
go.
chasing.
NYSL.
Pass.
Since 2018, College COD has been the go-to source for collegiate Call of Duty action across North America. 4 years ago, a small, passionate group of college students had an idea to bring a competitive Call of Duty environment to other full-time students. And in its first season, the CCL showcased a mere total of only 8 teams. But with that, the CCL was officially born. Fast forward to today, the CCL now encompasses 180 teams representing over 150 different schools. What started as playing just for bragging rights has turned into more than $30,000 earned by students in total prizing. And in that time, over 2.7 million total viewers have been a part of the journey to where we are today. Wow. But we aren't done yet. Every year, the Esports Awards host a place to recognize the best in collegiate esports, and we would love your help to gain a nomination in this coming year. To help nominate College COD for the Esports Collegiate Award, start by going to esportsawards.com/nominate. On the left side of the screen, at the top of the community column, check the box for the Esports Collegiate Award. Scroll down and click Submit Nominations. Write us in as College COD, and if you want to help out even more, tell them why you love us. Write in our socials with any experiences you may have had with the CCL. Click Submit, and you're in the home stretch. To finalize your submission, write in your name, your email, then click Submit, and your nomination will officially be in. The CCL is 4 years in the making, and with your continued help and support, we will not be going anywhere anytime soon.
Let's get some salutes in chat for some raid hardpoint, everyone. Bama Crimson, UTK Orange. Once again, myself, Seymour, and Cam. Let's hop into this, Cam.
Oh, yeah. The wait is finally over. Right into the match we go. Big gunfights on P1. Favorable spawns for Bama. They're probably going to want to hold on to it, but like I say, they're the aggressive team. They're probably going to try to fight for some more this time. Slan just doing a good job playing his life. Now makes his move. Not going to be able to find either of those kills. Big information for his teammates, though. What can they do with it? Revise. That's a huge 2-piece right there. 30 seconds left to fight for. If he could have got that kill, would have been big, but the spawns actually are going to flip, so this is very favorable for UTK.
Would have been a solid 4K, but UTK now looking for those preferred sides. You see Bama Crimson being a little bit scrappy on the point at the moment. 2 kills for their favor to look to push through Laundry. Slaying on the op site. Honcho is going to be in trouble. Has the 74U in hand. Even takes down that 1 kill. So now working from Laundry to break from the backside of this map. And UTK Orange, they're aware of this.
Yeah, Honcho really a big-time player for Bama Crimson. He's trying to make something happen. His teammate Click's going to fall. Is that enough for him to continue to try to push through as a distraction? Probably not. Instead, he's going to buddy up with his teammate Nix here. Revises to go for the reload. It's going to be big for Honcho to get on into the point to find that kill. Now his teammate set up the pinch. Click gets on in. Big 1v1 coming up with Alstro. Alstro's going to win it. Crazy spawns taking place. It's a parallel spawn from Pool and from Ring. Players back and forth. And then right now, though, Alstro winning out on these gunfights is going to be good enough to find some more this time.
He's got to be aware of Honcho, though, who's found his way into the money room. Kills right now going to UTK. Orange and Slaying. Getting that pick onto Honcho is going to be huge because now you see Bama Crimson spawning all over the place. They have a pinch set up, but Alstro's aware of that right now. So Bama Crimson coming to the later end, so they're going to have to worry about this rotation to P3, and already Slaying looking to interrupt this.
Yeah, that's the right move. Go ahead and chalk that up and go back towards the garage. Get your setup in place. Cade up here. Did he not see that player run right behind him? He's going to get the shots into Alstro. Maybe he did see it, and he's big brain. Absolutely big stuff, finding the 2-piece onto Goosefava. The setup's already there at garage. You got 1 player to deal with, and Slaying, they do it. Now the long run comes in for UTK. This is a big chance for Bama to get back in this game.
Well, you got about 40 points on point 2 for UTK Orange. Now Bama in control of garage. Nick's going to watch the cut through Art. Good for the first. Honcho steps up for the second one as well. UTK Orange spawning all the way back kitchen. They have the opening towards Jim, but you can't get past Click, who's on the site. Goosefava, the only kill so far for UTK Orange, cleaned up by Honcho in the back line. So far, so good for Bama Crimson. Few points away from tying this series up. Click does go down. Slaying and provides for a big 2-piece, and UTK, even with losing all that, they get the break on the point.
Yeah, and Honcho's just trying to play out front to cut off some of these players as they get towards the hill. It's going to cost him in the end because his teammates are losing the gunfights on the back end. That scrap time is going to go over to UTK, but still, that's a solid chunk for Bama. They're actually getting good timing off it because they die. They get the long spawn over towards the next hill. Now they can try to win these gunfights on rotation like they are. They're going to be in a good spot here to turn it into another one.
It's fantastic right now for Bama Crimson. You see the setup right now. Pool, locked down. Kitchen, locked down. Click, going to be the first one to take a gunfight. Slaying side by side. Looking for the bait and switch, and it is solid for Goosefava to take this one. Now that another flood rate from UTK Orange right in the hands of Honcho and K2K Slaying, the last one standing for UTK Orange. And all so far, so good for Bama Crimson.
Yeah, and I really like that decision for UTK to send 4 players into the kitchen. I think that's the way you have to make the break happen, but unfortunately the kills get picked up for Bama. Now back to square one. You have to make another long trot over to this hill. 30 seconds already going over to Bama. They've taken the lead now. Honcho's got 2 players to deal with, but he's got some teammates here in support. This is looking like a really good hill for Crimson, but here comes the break attempt. Goosefava finds one. He's not going to be able to get the second. Honcho, really great stuff, up to 8 and 4. Really everybody for Bama throwing in a little bit of the slaying. Him and Cade. This is great stuff. They're able to get a solid almost 60 points there on the basketball hill.
And UTK, they throw the towel in for point 4. They're going to be setting up for this courtyard hole. You got Rings on lock, Alstro on the staircase cut. Gonna have a big one-on-one between Nix, but Nix is gonna worry about the pillars and Slaying. Christmas in the kill feed right now between both of both squads, UTK Orange and Bama Crimson. So far, not gonna lock onto this point or step on for any points. He's just going for some kills right now to get some spacing. 3 go down for Bama Crimson. Now that's the go-ahead for UTK Orange to hop on and start soaking up some time.
Yeah, you see that kind of dull moment where neither team wants to get on the point just yet. Got to play for the kills. The crossfire is so hectic on this hill. It's a hard one to get a lot of time, but it's actually UTK who win the gunfights. Now it's their chance to flood on in. 2 players on the point. You got 1 watching pillars where the push is coming through right now. Click, how about the presence of mind to go pro, and he finds that first kill. Alstro trying to trade it out. He could be getting 3 instead. Honcho's there for the trade. Now comes Revives through Zig. It's all over the place. Neither team really able to get a big chunk of time. 15 seconds probably going to go to Bama, but you got to turn your attention over back to Ring.
Back to Ring for the reset, and on the whole history of this first set of rotations, we do have Bama Crimson coming out on top with about a 20-point lead. So UTK, they had a lot of succession here the first time around. They were able to pull the spawns, trying to do it again, set up all 4 players right now inside this Ring area, looking to lock it down, and Honcho breaks through with the first, but the kills come up for UTK Orange right away.
This is a huge rotation, yeah. Trying to make their way back here as the lead starts to inch forward a little bit for Bama. Now it's going to be UTK evening the odds. The spawns kind of come in as a parallel to both sides to think about here for UTK. pinch coming through, but Alstro's ready for it, finding two
Oh my.
huge kills. And they're turning this one into a money hill almost. They're really getting a solid chunk of time. Spawn still out for Bama Crimson. Not looking good as the rotation gets ready to start up. This is looking good for UTK.
Looking phenomenal. Rise even going to find another one on the pillars. Looking for a little bit more on this point. Alstro comes out on top, looking to get the rest of the scrap time. 20 seconds still to be had. And Bama Crimson are going to dedicate themselves to this point one last time to try to get Alstro off this and then make their hit to pinch off into this P2 hill. You have the setup for Kitchen from Revised. You even have the spawns up into Garden for UTK Orange. Now, this time around, you got to be successful. You have to shut this down.
Yeah, for Bama, they're going to all four try to hit around the backside from Old. It's an interesting decision, but it could pay off for him. The teamwork is going to have to come through. Honcho switches over to that Krig, or maybe he picked it up, finds the opening kill, but Revive's trying to find two. Not going to happen. Nix and company are on the back end. They should be picking up the close spawn. Exactly what they do. UTK spawning out. They're into the hill. This is a perfect break from Bama. Still 40 seconds to grab up here.
And you look at that, the Delta stream comes up as well. We see Ottawa Gold and GVSU Blue almost tied even a piece on this raid as well. We do see double raid hardpoints right now on our screen. Bama Crimson still dominating as we on our main matchup, looking to tie this game back up and get the scrap time for P2. UTK Orange are going to chalk this, and you're looking at the rotation to P3. Matt Honcho, the only one to put a damper in it. Already good for one kill. Revive's going for the trade. Honcho's playing his life. Revive, do you come up with this? That's going to be huge.
And that was a huge bounce back kill on P2 for Bama to get that break. It brings them right back into this game. They're actually good enough to take the lead. A couple players there are going to have a 1v1 on the spawn out, but now as we make the rotation, UTK's turn to try to bring things back. It's going to be a big spot for Goose Fava as his teammate Revised goes down. He's playing buddy system here with Slayin. Players pushing into weights. He's trying to put the shots down as one out front too. It's just a matter of when is Bama going to make this move. They're looking for the opening. Slayin, that's huge to slow things down for the time being. And all of a sudden, everybody's starting to fall. This is looking really good for UTK.
Another lead change on this game. These teams are going back and forth, Cam. Bama Crimson still have 30 seconds to break through this hill. Click, good for a first kill into Jim. Going to take some real estate at that and even find the second onto Slain. Is going to leave it open. They full wipe once again for UTK. Alistro's the only one here to make a hero play, but rest of this time, going to go to Bama Crimson, and UTK have to give it up.
Yeah, and it's a situation we saw earlier in the game where it's really not the worst thing in the world for UTK to die there, because now they get the spawns on the other side of the map. They have a chance to cut off the rotation. They're going to put their setup down similar to the way Bama did last time. It's almost favorable. It works out for you. Good timing. Revives now is going to be in a big spot to try to slow down the push in Kitchen as he falls. Somebody else is going to have to fill that lane, and it's Alstro up next. But this is looking really good for UTK on the rotation. If he can find these kills instead, Bama making their push through. Honcho with a big opening.
Can't let that happen for Honcho. Now gives Bama Crimson the opportunity to break through this. They got to worry about Goose Fava now on the garden. Blake gets in behind, taking down a pinch onto Goose Fava. Solid. Slayin now going to be in a little bit of trouble, as it is Bama Crimson spawning up inside jungle. UTK are going to realize that, take their sights over the staircase. Nix on the stairs, down. K2K follows up with him into this kill feed. Good 3 down in favor of UTK. Orange Click, the only one standing to make a damper in this. Not sure. I don't think you can win off this if you're to UTK Orange, but Bama Crimson, they don't want to take it to the map.
Yeah, they can't win off it, but they're going to be trying to get every last second of it to make it close when they go to the P5. And yeah, for Bama, they get that close spawn. They weren't able to do anything with it. Now, finally, in the final stages, they're able to get back onto the point. That 10 seconds is going to be big, but you really have to make a rotation over to P5. It's all going to come down to this last hill. And right now, control's going to be there for UTK.
Oh, Revive, he's got a big job right now. Big duty to lock down this hill from the front line of Kitchen. You got the pinch coming through. Alistro, Goose Fava 4-2. Revive does go down to Nix, but all the kills coming up at UTK. They only need 10 kills or 10 points to win this game right now. Bama Crimson, they have to race to the point. They have to touch on and stop this clock, but 2 seconds left. Nobody's going to be able to. Slaying's going to put it in, and that is UTK Orange coming out with that first map victory over Bama Crimson on Raid Hardpoint.
Wow. What a great game. And yeah, it really comes down to those rotations. They're trading back and forth on those money hills from 2, 3, and 4. Those final stages, UTK, although they had that close spawn against them, Bama was spawning close laundry there on the basketball hill, and they're flooding on in, but UTK is still able to grab the kills, which was absolutely massive. That's where they build up that big lead, and going into P5, they only need a few seconds. They pick up that first wave. They're able to pick up on the spawns as well. Really good showing from UTK. Good map awareness, I think, especially down the stretch.
And one of the things that you highlighted for this UTK roster was map management. And I have to say they hit it right on the nail, and they were keeping Bama Crimson out of these hills, locking them down and really playing their power angles efficiently.
Yeah, and it's one of those interesting things we saw in that garage hill a couple times where Bama's fighting for the final 20, 25 seconds. And in any other situation, in any other map, on any other hill, yeah, that's what you probably, yeah, you could do that. You send 2 guys there to try to get that scrap time. But when it comes to the garage to basketball hill, it gets to 30 seconds and it's almost time to chalk it. Like, it's such a long rotation. And even if you do find those kills, you're only helping the other team and spawning them at the new hill. It's set up well for UTK to die on that scrap time. So it's an interesting situation. It's one you really have to know the map well enough. You have to have the awareness. And in the moment, it's hard to be thinking about that kind of thing. So you can't really blame Bama for it.
Beautiful from UTK. Bama Crimson faltering a little bit on that first map, but once, like you said, you can't really blame them. We just had the Delta Stream finish, and Ottawa Gold 250-99 over GVSU on that raid hardpoint. Now, Ottawa Gold, granted, they are one of the favored teams to win this, coming from that Ottawa school. So not really shocking to be it, but always a little bit surprising to see a 100 point club in Cold War. Doesn't usually happen too often.
Yeah, and it was pretty close when we did our check-in. It was like 88-71. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
was
I
side
see
by
you
side.
making a bit of a move. Yeah, and then they must have just completely taken over the game, which is, yeah, not much of a surprise. They are one of the favorites to win the whole thing, so pretty much expected, but it's going to go to a search and destroy, so things will slow down. Those are your big opportunities as the underdog. You got to win your search and destroys, because those
You're
search and
choosing your
destroys,
fives.
they win championships.
You're choosing fives. Win
Yep.
championship. Nothing more to that. And speaking of search and destroys, Bama Crimson, they're looking at Moscow search and destroy to make this tie game 1-1 in this series. And something we were talking about before we went live today, Cam, is Bama Crimson's pacing. Moscow search and destroy definitely going to favor that pacing that Bama Crimson likes to take into effect, especially towards the A site. You know, those rotations to the B site, a lot of options for a map like Moscow search and destroy. So tell me a little bit about Bama Crimson and what you'd like to see from them to bring this back to a tie game.
Yeah, I think at the start I was kind of highlighting search and destroy as maybe their off mode, the one that they're not going to have as much success in. But I think Moscow as a map really, like you're saying, Seymour, sets up well for them. It's one you can be aggressive on. We see teams go to A and be so comfortable there. I think we'll see a lot of that from Bama. On the other side of things for UTK, maybe mixing things up on them could be huge. And then even when you're on offense, if you're UTK, you got to be careful for Bama to be aggressive on defense, because that's what this team likes to do. They like to be in your face. They like to just win the sprint, the race to the bomb site, and then pick up the kills. So definitely going to be paying attention to Bama being aggressive. If they can be that team that's proactive rather than being reactive, I think that's going to play into their favor. But search and destroy is the one mode where you can be the reactive team making adjustments. So I think that's UTK's game plan. On the other end, it's Bama. They're just going to try to win the gunfights.
Yeah, and really comes down to that map management as well. You know, just like that right hard point, you know that Bama's going to be proactive, like you say. So just back up, play it slow. Search and destroy definitely can go either side. I mean, UTK has a phenomenal record on Moscow search and destroy, sitting 5-2, whereas Bama Crimson, they have their reps, but they're just even dead 4-4 on Moscow search and destroy. So when it comes to the records, UTK definitely favored in the sense, but a map like Moscow search and destroy and playoffs, I mean, you know, a couple things go your favor. You got Matt Huncho playing that AK-74U with aggression, and I mean, Bama Crimson definitely dangerous on a map like Moscow.
Yeah, neither team is necessarily a search team. Like 11-6 for UTK is a little bit better than Bama's 10-7. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think this one's anybody's ball game. In terms of Bama, this one sets up well for them. Moscow search is definitely a good look, and then they're trying to just get it to that Garrison hardpoint where they know they can have success. That's been one of their best maps all year long, maps and modes. So if they can get there, I think they're going to have a pretty good feeling about forcing it to a game 5. It's just a matter of winning this Moscow S&D, and if you can't do that, obviously you have to win the checkmate control. But I think it'd be much nicer, a little monkey off the back if you could just take it here in this next search.
A little bit of gas off the pedal if you take the search and destroy. I mean, checkmate control would definitely just force you into that reverse sweep sense, but nobody likes doing that at all. So Moscow search and destroy, you guys know it. I mean, you got the A site set up right outside the escalators, the B site all the way over into the apartment building. A lot of teams these days, they kind of falter from going for a first round hit towards the A site because of the trophy systems not really being existent in round ones. So you see a lot of teams these days go for their opportunities towards the B site early in this game to make sure that they're not taking too much nade spam. We're going to be looking at these teams to see if their attacking rounds right off the bat are going to take a little bit of creativity in this and not just be full on A hits, because it'd be a little bit worrisome when that spam does come through with the nades. Another thing that I'm looking at between these two teams in a sense of Moscow search and destroy is their plant positions. I mean, I'm always harping on teams, and I'm always scolding teams on the fact that post plant positions are really important, and it's overlooked in Call of Duty, especially this Cold War scene. So you want to make sure that these teams are planting in positions that when that bomb goes down, you're going to have that proactive ability to take a sight line from a long distance angle, check off on it here and there, and get a little bit creative. Force the team on defense to push into you with those bomb plans. So either team, they got a tough series ahead of them. Moscow Search and Destroy favors UTK in the books, but right now in the play styles, Bama Crimson looking to bounce back.
Yeah, I like everything you're saying there, and especially in those post plants, like in Search and Destroy, it's the slower game mode. That's your time to small talk with your teammates, not necessarily, oh, there's a guy here, there's a guy there. No, I'm watching this. You should pick up this, making sure you got all your grounds covered in those post plants. Those are those big moments, and I like what you said about the trophies as well, because people don't think about that enough. You can get pretty creative in these first couple rounds with no trophies. You got to hit some good nades, and pretty much what we expected. Bama, they're probably just going to be stuffing it right down UTK's throat over here today.
Immediately, the nade spam. Gonna land on a few players. 3v4 on this site. Goosebump is sticking tight to the dumpsters. But Slane watching the cross. 2 favors. The 2 kills favor Bama Crimson. If Goosefava goes down, it's going to be the site in control of this Crimson squad. The Diamati for Nick. He's going to shut that player down. Now Alistro on the flank. Can drop the bomb on Click. Makes it a 1-on-1, but the trades for Nix. He gets in behind. And Bama Crimson, it was scrappy. It was close. But they come out with the first round.
Yeah, and at the very start, Honcho's the first one to go down, and it looks like maybe a bad move to jump out there, but really what he was doing was creating space for his teammates. It was all coordinated because the trades were there from Nix and company. They push on in, they get control of it, and then it becomes a 1v2. They play it perfectly, play a little bit of a trade situation. Sure, Alstro finds the first one, but Nix is ready to trade it on out, so that's just really great stuff from Bama. I think it's something that we can see all game long where they just continue to stuff it right down your throat over there at A. It's just exactly what you're looking for in the opening round. You win your first offense. Now you go back on D, and this is going to be interesting to see what does UTK do. Do they take the same strategy, or do they mix things up? Do they spread the map a little more? Do they think about going to B? And it looks like off the rip, they're going to just take the same play out of the other team's book.
Well, you know that UTK is going to be a little bit more careful, but will Bama be aggressive like they are in attack? And it looks like they're going to stack on each other and get a little bit fast onto the pillar for the A site. Escalators is the rotation from UTK, but a team kill from Slayin. Goosefava receives one from the dome. A little bit of betrayal on Slayin's side, but luckily you do trade this back, and just the favor is not on your side if you're UTK Orange right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Got to put it behind you, but you still have an opportunity here at B. It's going to be a 2v2. If you can win this gunfight for Revised, it might be an opportunity for a bomb plant. Instead, they're both going to back down from it, and this player over at A is still on an island, so I mean, you're not necessarily in a big life advantage over here at this side of the map, but you're just going to have to find one pick here to even the odds. It could be so big. Alstro trying to sneak on in around. He's using the crouch.
This is perfect timing. K2K, he reads it, though, and he takes Alstro down a 1v3. Honcho's going to be ready for the jump out of apartments, and Bama Crimson 2 rounds in a row for a 2-0 series. A great start to themselves, and even the aggression, getting all that information towards the B side. As soon as you hit that pillar on the corner and check for Fountain and see that nobody's there, you expect that the B hit's coming out, and they make the rotation, they adapt to it, and they shut down UTK Orange.
Yeah, I like the move to push down Eskies because you're thinking if anybody's there in mid, there's 3 of us, we should be able to pick up the trades and win the battle. Unfortunately, you get the team kill, obviously going to take the win right out of the sails, and it's tough to win around after that. At least they make it close, right? They show the composure to at least make it interesting, but it's not going to happen in the end. Bama going right back to A.
This time you got trophy systems, so a little bit safer for either squad. It's going to be harder to crack through this site. Thanks for the slide in. 2 players on the bomb. This time, first blood going to T2K. Revised, though, lines up for 2 and gives the aggression right back to UTK Orange. So now it's 3v2.
A great adjustment, too, for Revised. He knows that there's probably 2 players jumping around that corner, so what does he do? He pre-fires it. He picks up a massive 2-piece to draw the odds in his team's favor, and they seem to have an inclination that these last 2 players are hanging out over by that brick wall. Cade slowly creeping back. Alstro playing the patient game as his teammates do as well. Big pick, though, to draw things even. Honcho playing off of it to find one of his own. Now it's all up to Revised.
I mean, how many times has Alstro hit that flank? It's only right that Honcho checks it, and now it's a 2v1. Not favoring Revised here. Got a player on breaks. And then Honcho backing up all the way Fountain. K2K, though, not going to let him pass his sights. Bama Crimson 3 in a row. Phenomenal start to this Moscow Search and Destroy.
And they're winning some moments where it doesn't feel like they should be making these rounds. Revised again there with that big 2-piece. Was able to slow things down a bit, but unbelievable stuff in the 2v3, like you said, from Honcho making the plays. His teammate Nix, they're finding kills. Turn that one on its head, and they're just so confident over there today, and that's what it comes down to oftentimes. Which team is taking those ego challenges with that extra bit of confidence to win those gunfights, to create those openings? I mean, oftentimes you're sliding or jumping around a corner at a player who's already waiting for you, so it's so tough to win those. And for UTK, I like this move. Let's switch things up. Let's go over to B.
Once again, the aggression for Bama Crimson on this A site. They're gonna know exactly that B hit's coming out. You see 3 players rotating back around to B. Click, big tough task ahead of him. Revise takes him out. Full B site to UTK Orange.
This is huge right here. A chance to get the bomb down. I like, though, that Bama has committed back to this rotation. They're going to have a good chance on this retake. Honcho with the big opening. Cade finds one as well. Now all of a sudden it's 3v2. These players are separated.
Oh.
Revised. What are you doing? He's not looking the right way. He goes down as well. Cade, sure, you're going to pick him up, but that's big information onto Gusfava. 2v1, just got to play this as a team. Nix is ready for it. And, man, I mean, coming into this game, I honestly was interested in seeing how Bama plays Search and Destroy. I'm typically the guy who likes to have the IQ plays, the brain stuff, because Search and Destroy can be that mode. But instead, these guys are just so decisive in whatever they're trying to do. I think that's what's so great about the way they play. They see that nobody's home at A. They instantly, everybody commits to going back to B, and it works out for them in the retake.
Well, Revise just caught sleeping there. It was really unfortunate that he's not checking his back. Gusfava was hopefully on that boulevard to watch that player hopping into the window, but nobody checking over him, and Revise just not ready for anything at all. So 4 in a row for Bama Crimson, unanswered by UTK Orange at all. 4-0 start to this game, and even with Click 0-4, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because he's just creating trade opportunities for his teammates. Everybody is. I mean, when you're all jumping around a corner as a team, it's going to be easy to win those 2v1s, and it's exactly what they're doing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right back to A again, where they've been so aggressive. How does UTK make an adjustment, though?
Well, they get a little bit aggressive, and Alstro takes that first blood off the aggression. Does get traded off. Gusfava going down off on the brick side of the wall, but I just got to worry about this 4v4 hit, and Alstro sticking onto those pillars. Takes another one, Revise to the follow-up, leaving Click all alone. 0-4. Has to go 3-4 if you want that 5 in a row for Bama Crimson.
Bama doesn't just have the aggression. How about the big brain play? I love it. Nobody ready for this. Is he going to commit right away to the plant? That's probably going to set him up with the best opportunity. He is. This is awesome stuff from Click. Yeah, you're 0-4, but how about a chance to make a big play for your team?
Chance indeed. He might have a one-on-one as well with number 8. Doesn't overexert himself, so he is going to just dance around this bomb site as best as he can. He only has a 74U, so he doesn't want to take those long-range fights just yet, especially with the player disadvantage that he's at. All 3 players tethered together inside the apartments. You're going to spot them out if you Click. Drop a stun onto yourself. They're hopping the bomb. Alstro goes down. No trade either. So Click's still in it to win it. 17 seconds, 7.5 to hit that defuse. Might get some good timing, and right on the lane he goes. Click. He's got the ice at the moment in a one-on-one. Click versus Revise. Revise has to hit it. Click does the deed, the magic in his veins. 5 in a row for Bama Crimson.
I mean, you can't play it more perfect than that. He gets some good timing at one of those moments, but every single decision he makes there was just the right one, especially at the start. When it goes to 1v3, when you're at A, knowing that those players are there, what does he do? He instantly cuts down to mid, gets the bomb plant off. That's going to be your best chance to win it with the bomb down. Hits all of his shots. Perfect stuff. Playing the clock, everything right there for Click was massive. And not only that, but he starts the game 0-4. How does he follow up on it? He picks his team up a 1v3 to make it a 5-0. Unbelievable stuff from Click. Got to give him all the gas.
You say he plays that perfect and enough to take those individual gunfights, jiggle peeking his shoulder into those sides to get the information on where the players are laying, and just one by one. Now, aggressive defense with the A side, 4v4 once again. UTK doesn't want to waste no time. Nix gonna put them in the grave, even drops his bomb in behind Matt. Honcho lines up the last 2. Bama Crimson flawless in the search and destroy. Gotta give it all to Click right there. Absolutely booming the mentals of UTK Orange and giving them that flawless run.
I mean, they're just literally handing it off and running it right up the middle every single time, and no one can tackle them. It's just unbelievable aggression right there from Bama, and it's what we expected. I'm sure it's what UTK expected, but they just couldn't handle it. And it just goes back to that decisive factor, too. I think at times you can see teams when they're trying to make a decision in a round, and they're kind of 50-50. They're not completely committing themselves. That's not what Bama does. Every single time they want to make a move, they fully commit to it, and it pays off for them. Click, like you said, huge 1v3. That was really the momentum that they needed to close it out. And that's the momentum they needed to get back into this series, because now all of a sudden you win a 6-0 going into the checkmate control, where both teams have had a lot of success, but it's going to be Bama riding high.
Bama riding off that high horse indeed. And you also have on our Delta stream Ottawa Black with a 6-0 of their own on Raid Search and Destroy against GVSU. So they're up 2-0 in their series. They're ready to go into their control, look for the sweep. But right here, right now, we got a war at our hands. And Checkmate Control, it's going to be the next map up soon after this quick break for the CCL Bravo stream.
Looking pretty good. You don't want to catch him there. 26 lives still remaining in that final round. They won it by 26 lives. And again, for GVSU, I don't mean to be putting them in a bad light. It's just what you come up against. What are you gonna do? You have to try to do something, and obviously it wasn't working out for him. So that one's unfortunate, but I think it's what a lot of people expected. Now we turn our attention back here, where it's going to be control again.
You gotta make that losers bracket run for GVSU, and if you go up against Ottawa Gold again, just hit the VODs. Try to break through this team, and the second time around, make it happen. But right now, that loser bracket run is what you're looking at. And like you said, we're diving right back into Bama Crimson and UTK Orange. Checkmate Control is going to be where we go up next. And this is a big swing map because the team to take this is the team to take that lead.
This is a big swing map, and it's really an interesting situation. We've talked so much about the SMG play for Bama. Checkmate's one where you can have success with an SMG, but you can also have success with an assault rifle. So it kind of could go either way. Both teams are undefeated on this map and mode on the season, so this is really going to be a highly touted match. And then again, for that Garrison hardpoint, I think that one for me is favoring Bama, so this feels like a must-win for UTK. Got to get it done here to force that final checkmate search and destroy. But Bama are riding high off that 6-0. Like, it feels like they really flipped the switch in that last match. If they can carry that into this one, they're going to be pretty dangerous, I think.
I mean, Click hit that 1v3, and it was just smooth sailing from there for that last round. A flawless for Bama Crimson. Like you say, both teams flawless in that, and both teams had a good record on raid hardpoint as well, and that went right down to the wire 250 to 207. So really the team to be able to play this. I mean, we just said that Moscow Search and Destroy was a must-win for Bama Crimson. And we're flipping on a dime right now, and UTK has to come out with this because from then on, I mean, you need to force that game 5 for either one of these teams. That's so Checkmate Search and Destroy is going to be the decider for these teams. It has to be for the way that this is set up, the way that these teams are playing, and this is going to decide how good they are. So talk to me a little bit about UTK's players on Checkmate Control. Talk to me a little bit of who you need to stand up against this Bama Crimson squad.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Goose Fava. It's got to be Revise. Revise, again, that in-game leader is going to have to be calling a lot of the shots. It's going to some big, important moments that can take place in control in the middle of a round. All of a sudden, that decision, that split-second decision can be the decider in whether you lose it or win it. So all that stuff has to come, yes, as a team, but it also has to be probably one person making that decision. Again, like we just saw from Bama in the Search and Destroy, decisiveness is key. You can't be second-guessing yourself, especially in control, where, again, you can pivot from point to point from the middle of the map, especially here on Checkmate. Control of the top of the plane is going to be extremely important. You have to think Bama is going to be sending their high-powered SMG players up there, so you got to have, for UTK's side, they have to send somebody up there to answer back to it. That could be Slayin. Alstro, again, everybody really is going to have a big game. I think for Bama, though, they're going to be trying to get control of the top of the plane. You can't let them do it for UTK.
And it's something that we saw from Illini Orange yesterday in their Bravo series on against Texas State is when you're on defense, you have to make sure that when you get that wipe, you take the space that's available for you as well, because you have to really assert yourself as the alpha team on Checkmate. Defense runs are so big. And one of these teams, I mean, it usually comes down to a checkmate control game and if these teams can take an attacking round. So when you're on defense, especially for UTK Orange, you have to make sure that you're really shutting down the aggression for Bama Crimson.
Yeah, it's a great point. And to play from the other end, yeah, the defense, if they get a clean sweep of kills, it's a big chance to move up on the map and get more control. But for the offense, you really can't allow a clean sweep of kills. If you're the last player alive, it's so important to waste some time so that when your teammates are coming off spawn, they at least have a chance to get out. If everybody dies, that's just free reign on the map for the other team to take over. If you're that last 1 or 2 players, really going to be important to try to play alive. Waste enough time that your teammates can get a better chance to come out of spawn.
And since Bama Crimson are a team of submachine gun players mostly, that plane control is going to be hefty for them. Those submachine guns, I mean, it's where they reign in hardpoint. It's where they reign in search and destroy. And it's obviously where they're going to keep that consistency going in control for this map. So really looking at the subs of Bama Crimson to keep control of that plane. UTK Orange, with a more slow play style, you'd kind of opt to see them go for control outside the plane and lock Bama Crimson down from the power angles that are provided. So on both ends, you're kind of seeing some strengths for either team. And the fact that they're both flawless, I admit, this is going to be a question mark for myself, but a bloodbath of a game for these teams.
Yeah, it really is. And to hammer home that point again, it's like the middle of the plane is like the tree trunk of the tree, and then everything branches out from there. You could fall down underneath the plane wing. You could go over to A. It's such an important spot to keep control of, especially here on Checkmate. In every game mode, really, like even in Hardpoint and Search and Destroy, you see everything kind of fluctuates right through the middle of that plane. So whichever team can be holding down that position is going to be in a good spot.
Well, let's waste no time. Hop into this map number 3. Both teams tied 1 apiece. Winner of this takes the lead. And we're already on board with Slane for the attack from UTK Orange. We're going to take control of this plane. Click makes himself known. Going for a bait and switch. The nade to help him out. Revise up top. 2 kills to UTK Orange. And 2K, K2K, and Honcho looking to be good. Slane, that's a mistake.
I don't know if he pressed the wrong bumper there, but that's a sticky grenade. It's going to stick to the wall. Unfortunate stuff, and it's going to actually result in Bama getting control of the map. This is what we were talking about. You get 4 clean kills. Now you see they get into these power positions, and it's going to be pretty difficult for UTK to get out.
You can see UTK understands that, so few players are going to be lining up on power positions of their own to try to break on through. They're just losing their individual one-on-ones. Alistro on the opposite side, even Nick's taking control of this garage, and look at that. Once again, you can just see the swarm from those red arrows just getting closer and closer to this UTK squad.
And they're setting up a few different lines. You got Nyx and Click up here, pushed up pretty far, and then you got the AR sitting back a little bit. So even if you get through this front line, you still have to get through another wave. This is a really good setup right now for Bama, and you're seeing exactly why. Now Honcho from over the top finding kills. Finally, you clean up Nyx. Maybe a chance to move out, but you still have players pushed up. Okay, that's the kill that you're looking for. Now you get some separation, a chance to start to move forward.
Cade's on a 5 straight looking for Shreezy. Take down Alistro. That'll give you one away, but Alistro, big one-on-one kills going to the favor of UTK Orange, and now they stop this time. Nyx comes out with a big 2K, but still have Alistro to the A site. Still hoping for him. Nyx comes out with 3, and now Alistro, the closest one. You wipe him. It's going to be a big time favor. Honcho takes care of business. Slaying, trying to get himself on the site, but Bama Crimson, they come off hot in this control, and a good 1-0 lead for the defense.
And you had Nyx kind of influencing that spawn over towards A. Everybody picks up on that fact. They all push over there to be ready on defense, and they clean up another 4 kills in the final moment there. Here's Nyx in the kill cam. Pretty impressive with the movement. Bama, that's just a really good round. Like you said, Seymour, as soon as you get those 4 kills, that's your chance to pretty much put the round to bed. I mean, you move up on the map, you get those power positions, and it's so difficult for UTK to get back out. It goes back on the other side of things for UTK. You just can't let all 4 of your players fall. You got to have at least 1 player alive to waste some time so everybody can come off spawn. Now we flip sides. We'll see if Bama can win an offense and really put this one into a good spot.
Nyx going for plane control. 2-0 to UTK. Immediately shut down. So Click and Honcho have to play their lives. They have to play this a little bit slow, wait for the teammates to spawn up so they don't get locked into this. Coming out with 2 big kills as well, so you take the life favor right on back into Bama Crimson's hand. Click's going to stop this time, and some good spacing for Bama Crimson to work off of.
Yeah, this is a much better start to an offense. You got to get that A site first, in my opinion. You already have Click there, starting to get some progress together. He's got a big 1v1 that he's able to win. Slane's going to be the one trying to play the spawns, but right now, your focus might need to be back on A. Instead, he says, no, I'm going to keep focusing on these kills. Finds one onto Honcho. Big trade there from Cade, and Click has already gotten his first tick. He's about to get this second one. He's wondering, is anybody even going to contest me here? Finally, some players starting to turn their focus there. It's going to be a pinch getting set up from Alstro and Revised. Contest comes through. He's going to go down. For Bama, it's a decision now. It's like, do we go to B while they're over at A? Do we go back to A where we have some progress? They're going to all fall down, so they're coming off spawn. There's a chance to make another decision.
They just got to Slay out right now, because Slane's pushing up a little bit on this plane. He's going to find Click right off the bat. So Bama Crimson just have to kind of lock this down and look to Slay out of their spawns. They have to win a big wipe just to touch down onto these points. And Goose Bava going down is going to give that plane control. Follow up from Honcho, and now let's go ahead back to the A site to get this 3rd cap.
Yeah, this is huge. Need this final tick of progress to extend the round. It's still a pretty even life situation right now. It's actually the offense who's starting to separate themselves a bit. They are going to get A. Now, what do you do for UTK? You have to chalk up. Let's get your setup in place over at B. Get into those power positions. Get ready to set your defense up. You got to get control of the top of the plane. Click's going to be the one who has it right now, and he can do a lot of different things from this position. He's going to choose to push up forward, work towards the spawns. Could have a chance to trade out Slane here as he plays this close corner. And Bama, it's really still a stalemate right now. Both teams trying to gain control of the map.
Nyx versus Slane, one-on-one. Nyx is going to take control of this tree trunk of the map, as you say. 5 life lead as well.
The heart
Revised makes it 4. Oh, yeah. Heart beating strong right now for Bama Crimson. 14 lives to 8. Setting up for this B setup. Looking to stack the site as well with Nyx onto it to get as much time as they can right away. UTK have to set up and wipe this as fast as possible.
Yeah, and it feels like for the defense, the best way to do this is to fill all the different lanes and attack it from multiple angles rather than flooding on in, but instead, you can just find the kills. That's going to work too. Second tick of progress starts to work forward. Click knows it's the time to get off the point and look for some more kills. Instead, he's going to go down, so this is big stuff for UTK to retaliate into this round. They're in a good spot now. They've got the power positions. Flips over on Bama's side. They're the ones who have to make a play.
And now with the life lead of 4, I mean, you can't really push too far up if you're UTK Orange, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 kills back in the favor of Bama Crimson. No respawns left. All 4 players of UTK have to make the most of their lives. Goose Fava doing as much as he can, but he goes down to Click now, 2v8. Click and hop on the site, work on the second tick of progression. Just wait for these players to walk into his sight line so he can take them down. Revise in a one-on-one with playing. Going to turn his back to Nick, so it's all up to that last player of Alistro to make the magic happen. Nix is going to spot him down, take that win, and Bama Crimson. No worry in the world for this squad because they're going up 2-0 in the series.
That's another great round. It's 10-6, like you said. UTK is able to get into some of these power positions, and it's moments like these from Cade where you reopen things up. Bama, they just play the lives. They end up winning all the kills. Great stuff on offense. They go up 2-0, and again, yeah, it's just that tipping point when it's 10-6. UTK has control of a lot of different positions. They kind of let it slip. Unfortunate for them. Bama, though, they're finding all the momentum after a 6-0 in the search and destroy, now 2-0 in the control. They're starting to run away with this one.
I really hope that UTK Orange would just kind of double down on the positions that they had instead of taking the fight to Bama Crimson, especially when you had limited respawns. I need to see a little bit more coordination from UTK Orange because I don't think they understand how valuable their lives can be.
Ooh, I didn't know about that spot. You learn something new every day. Okay, Goose Fava. He's been doing his map routines. He's been checking out the different spots. That's great stuff. Doesn't actually pick up a kill with it, but the battle in the top of the plane is really important right now. UTK, they get the opening kills. Chance to move up on the map. Got to get this one over here at A. They're able to do it. That's where they're going to turn their attention first. How does Bama react to it?
Well, they're going for that plane control right away. Nix has been a nuisance from the side. Very annoying player, but Honcho, with the distraction, is going to make his way to the A side, clear it once more, and Bama Crimson now looking to force these players in an uncomfortable situation. Goose Fava has to play it safe. He's going to hop right up onto that crate, and he's going to drop as well.
And Bama answers really well, yeah, to clean the players off the point. They don't allow any ticks to come through at A. Still back to square one if you're UTK. Now you're switching over to B. I like this move from Revise, though. It's more of just a distraction as his teammates continue to push to A. It draws a couple players over there towards B. Now the opening from Alstro as he finds one. Got to start to push onto the point. You still got Honcho to deal with, and he gets a big kill. Click finds 2 as he pushes up to this position. It just seems like every time UTK find a window, it's Bama showing up to close it.
Honcho now gonna catch Revise with a nade in his hand. Drops that trophy to watch the cross. 19 seconds to touch this down. The time is gonna be everything for this UTK squad. Revise with a big one-on-one still against Honcho. But Honcho knows exactly what he needs to go do. Finally drops into Revise, but it's gonna open up that trade slay. Drops in the wing. Good for one. Not good for the other one. 10 seconds left for UTK Orange to avoid this 3-0 sweep. But all the kills going to Bama Crimson right now. And Bama Crimson, they're gonna take a 3-0 on this checkmate controlling. They haven't dropped a round since that hard point at all. A 6-0 in search, a 3-0 in control. They're 9 rounds in a row on their favor. They are looking hot, and they are warmed up in the playoffs.
They just completely shut things down over here at A in this last defense. For UTK, it's like, what do we do? How we could try to go to B, but you know that's not really going to work out for you in the long run. You have to try to get A first, but you're unable to do it. And the scary thing now is I think for Bama, they're licking their chops on this Garrison hardpoint. This is where they want to be in a closeout map. And they have momentum, like you said, haven't lost a round in the last 2 games. Scary moments for UTK, but you got to have that composure in the playoffs. You got to be able to hit that reset button. We'll see if they can catch a big breath and be ready for the next one.
This is where UTK's clutch factor has to come alive. I mean, this is where you throw the stats out the window and your guns have to do the talking. In that sense, if you garrison a hard point, you have to battle back. I mean, you came off with the first hard point victory, so now you're going to feel a little bit comfortable in this map number 4. You know that you already have a hard point under your belt. Even though the style of this map is going to favor Bama Crimson, UTK should feel comfortable in knowing that they have taken a hard point in this series.
Yeah, UTK definitely has a lot of positives they can bring, and they're 8-2 in Garrison. Bama's 4-0. It's really going to be fire versus fire in this next one. I just think the big thing that's kind of pushing the scales right now is the fact that Bama just won these last 2 maps in such convincing fashion. It seems like they really are finding something started to click, and they're really turning up the heat a little bit, especially when you have SMG players, when that's the situation. They're just so in your face. It's difficult for UTK right now to kind of find a breath in a lot of these matches to kind of regain. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be close. But part of me is just leaning towards Bama with all the momentum right now.
A lot of me is leaning towards Bama, but I always keep that hope in the Map 5 in
Absolutely, yeah.
my
I'm
thoughts.
falling for
So I can't count UTK out of this just yet. So let's talk about UTK now. I know we mentioned a few players for that checkmate, but what do you need for this Garrison at hardpoint now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Slan, he was making some plays in that last control, and then in the final rounds, it started to slip a little bit. He's going to have to be big with the submachine gun to kind of answer back to this front line of Bama. And then on the other end, you do still need your assault rifle players to be big here, and especially grabbing power positions in Garrison hardpoint. I think just like the top lane on checkmate, top green is so important. You can see everything from that location. You can go over to P2 when it's that rotation from 1 to 2. It's such a big spot to be in. You can really... It's like the tree trunk again. There's so many different ways to branch out from top green. So I think whichever team's controlling that is going to be huge as well. Whether it's your assault rifle player, whether it's one of your submachine guns, somebody just has to keep that in the back of their mind that, oh, we just died top green. I'm going to go try to refill that lane. I think that's going to be huge for UTK especially. And then again, map management. This is one where there are money hills 2 and 3. I think after that, 4, 5, even 1. They're all kind of up for grabs. It can be pretty in the air, and it gets a little hectic. So as well, map awareness. How much are the comms coming through to be like, okay, I just spawned here. They must be spawning there. Just to kind of play that probability game to the process of elimination of knowing where these guys might be spawning up. Whichever team can be more on top of that is also going to have the foot up.
I have to say, I really like the points that you're bringing out for the ARs as well, showing up on a map like Garrison, because not too many people talk about the assault rifles on Garrison, and they really set the tempo here. I mean, it allows for your submachine guns to do that submachine gun roll, get up close and personal. It takes that space, it sets the speed of it. So it's definitely good to follow up with the assault rifles of UTK Orange. It's going to be very important at making sure that Bama Crimson can't get too far up with their submachine lineup. I mean, you only have to worry about K2K with his Craig. The rest of them, they're just going to be looking for those openings with their subs. And if your ARs are on fire for UTK Orange, you could definitely shut these players down before they even get to you.
Yeah, and it's similar to Raid, too. There's a rotation here from 2 to 3 that I think is going to be extremely important in this game, and the timing of it. When are you making your decision to chalk 2 and get set up for 3? And are you backing all the way up to 3 and just holding from far away? Or are you kind of hanging near mid to cut off those early routes through the middle of the map on the rotation? I think those are the kind of the decisions that can be extremely important as well. So we'll just have to see which team's managing the map better once it gets underway.
100%, and I'm sure these teams are ready to go, and I'm sure they're ready to get into the series. So why don't we take a look at Garrison Hardpoint 4 on map 4? Big map for Bama Crimson, but UTK Orange, their winners bracket lives are on the line right now. We're hopping on with Click right away for Bama Crimson as they're starting off for the point 3 spawns.
Yeah, and I think for Bama, it's going to be an opportunity to get aggressive here. Probably try to push up, maybe flip these out. Click. He's finding 2. Exactly what you look for. Now he's going to get into bricks, be that nuisance. Probably spawns a couple players out. He does. Huge opening for Bama right off the rip. They're going to be on the point for P1, and they're all, oh, well, Click does get cleaned up, so the spawn's going to be all over the place.
Slan is going to be that player to watch out for right now on UTK's side. He's going to have that opening to get in behind for that green control. And you talk about how important this is. Well, he has 2 players right behind him to take this gunfight. He's being hunted by these players right now. A big start to this, but Click shuts him down early. It might be even on the hard point, but look at that job from Bama Crimson. They flipped the spawn successfully, and they're going to set up for this P2 green control.
Yeah, they know how important it is. They don't just send 1 player there. They send 2 to make sure that they can win those fights. And it's, okay, sure, you're losing the fights on P1, but you have the setup for P2. This is the money hill. This is what it's so important. And it's a big spot for Nix to try to hold things down on top green. He's going to fall. All of a sudden, a lot of pressure into the next player up. And Honcho, he does get the nade kill. So it's still going to be hectic, though. You got 2 players out by the radar. This is a good position for UTK all of a sudden.
Contestion on it. Big win from Click. He's been standout so far in the start of the series. He is 5-2 right now. And it on a 2 spree at that, so nothing too crazy to look at so far, but a fantastic start from Click for this Garrison Hardpoint. They're going to lock it down at the moment. You see UTK Orange working from the middle of the map. They have to get through Matt Huncho and Alstro. Perfect time to shut him down.
Talking about the beginning, only 25 seconds left. It's going to be so hard to break this. You might honestly think about scrapping it, because you see, this is what happens. Now Bama have the spawns for next. Sure, that's great. You get that 20 seconds, but now you have to make another rotation. Okay, they're able to do it. They're able to get out into mid, but I don't know. Those are some of those questionable moments where now the kills go to Bama. They're going to be the ones set up for this next hill because you fought for 20 seconds on the old one. I don't know. It can go 2 different ways, but it's tough.
losing on the rotations again and again, and you gotta say that eventually this is gonna start biting you for UTK Orange. You have to look at the rotations early and start locking down these spawns. You have Honcho with the player to his right, not gonna check it, take some damage, staying alive now. The dance is on. He's now flipping the tides on the Alistron. He's gonna take it right in front of him. Honcho running the routes, and you got K2K comes out with the kill, but Alistron not feeling comfortable.
Yeah, he's sticking that sprint button down, and it's paying off for him. They're able to get in from behind and find that kill. Now the push through on the front side. Nick's probably calling out he needs some help. Click says, I got you, brother. Picks up 2 big kills. Last one is revised. Close spawn still coming through for Bama, though. Nothing to worry about. This is what I mean. That big rotation over to this next hill. They get a huge chunk of time, about to be 60 straight points. Brings them not only back into the game, but they take a pretty sizable lead.
You do see Nyx now going for that bridge control.
And this is a huge exit now.
Yeah, perfect exit to get out of the spawn trap of that .3. Nyx finding a secondary as well. Does get traded out, but still with Bama, every single kill that they have is an opportunity to break this hill in the later ends of it. Gusvava has that green control. This is something to look at because you talked about how important this is. He gives it up, but Gusvava is going to be huge to lock down this time.
Yeah, height advantage is massive here on this hill. Right now, it's going to be in favor of UTK. That's a nice set of shots from Gusvava. Honcho trying to get in on the contest. He's able to do it. Still got to clean these players up in top green. Nyx was trying to. He's going to escape there with the climb. It's just so hard to kill these Bama players. They're so slippery, it feels like, with these submachine guns. They're turning this hill on its head. You're not supposed to be able to get time from underneath like this, but they're finding ways to do it. Gusvava finding all the kills. He's got 3. He needs to get that 4th one. He's just on the hill. Revive's able to do it. So finally, UTK, they're able to answer back. Chance to breathe here as we get ready for another rotation in 20
you
seconds.
climb right back off with the scraps. You're going to be up at that 80-point marker. So only down by 20 going into this rotation. If you can maintain the middle of the map cam, it's a preferred side for this .5. Slaying trying to take down K2K. Bama setting up for this P5. Revised, locking down the rest of the time for that floating take hill. And now looking for a little bit extra.
This is preferred positioning for UTK. If they can get these kills, they should be spawning them in the back, but they have to come quickly. They're not able to do it. It's actually Bama filling up the feed. They're finding them all. And yeah, this might not be where you want to spawn. It's actually a parallel, so number 7 could have a big chance to make something happen on this hill if he tells his teammates to wait. 2 players spawning up out there. Is Bama ready for it? Seems like they are. Click's being such a nuisance up top. There's just nowhere for UTK to go.
Click. Bridge control now flipped on a dime. UTK in the first side. And Click's on a field day right now. Recovers a Krieg, and it's just going to be open season from then on. Looking for this elbow control. Still winning that one-on-one from Revised up close and personal. With all the time that Bama Crimson's getting. Biggest lead we've seen all game long. 129 to 83. And Click gets the artillery strike. Working on a cruise missile here, Cam. If you can find one more kill, the streak's going to come out big in the later ends with Slane shuts down that streak and doesn't make it any more than it should be.
Yeah, and this can be a scrappy hill, but right now, when Bama does this, it's the way you can turn it into a money hill. Just spawning them there in the back, keeping them trapped. They're able to get a solid chunk there. This lead's starting to go on up. It's up towards 60. We rotate again. Spawns are going to be important as well as you get ready for the rotation to P2 extremely early, but P1, this one, they're already grabbing plenty of time. Honcho, 18 and 9. Clicks, 21 and 10. These 2 players alone are doing enough for Bama to give them this big lead. The kill feed continues to light up red. Honcho climbing back up. He's on 5 in a row. He could be the one to pick up some streaks here for the Crimson.
Look at Honcho's awareness. Just hops on down when the player's going to aggress onto him. Gives up the space so he can take the space back. Doesn't get any streaks, but mounts another 8 seconds for Bama Crimson. UTK Orange finally fighting back from this, finding some openings. And this is a good go-ahead. If they can just group together now and push for these P2 spawns, can flip this game on its head.
Yeah, Bama, they get the brick spawn. It's so huge. You see exactly why they're able to find those kills. Now they're the ones set up for P2. This is a chance to put this one near the closing moments. Really, really important that UTK gets this break. This is the right way to do it. You got to hit the long runs. You got to hit through bricks. You got to make sure you get this kill onto Click. He's been so good in this game. He is going to go down. So this is an opportunity for UTK. They're able to flip the spawns.
Full flood through the alleyway. Honcho shoulder peeks it right into Revise, comes out with the first one playing his life, goes for Gusvava, finally cleaned up, but gives enough for K2K to come help his team out. Gusvava still tuning up big, but not big enough as the spawns come out for Bama Crimson. They wipe UTK once again, and on the brink of breaking through the 200-point marker as well.
Yeah, and earlier you'd be rotating at this. Like I was saying, I was criticizing that they didn't rotate at this time, but when you're down by this much, you have to fight for this 20 seconds, and you're really hoping that at least maybe 1 or 2 of your players can do it, so the other guys can focus the rotation. They're still getting that good spawn, so that's a good bit of time there wasted on that P2 hill. Now you got your rotation. You really need to put a lot of value in this next hold though, because it's going to be the one that brings you back into the game.
It's a must-win hill, absolutely, Cam. Alistro on that crate, watching the rotation. Gets nicks, but K2K hops on this point from the front side of it. So it is going to cross that 200 marker. Still not being aggressed from the squad. Look at the respect that UTK is giving him. Finally clears it up, but slaying another team kill from himself. Get a little bit of payback from that Moscow search and destroy. Does clear the site finally, and this is a good time for a UTK to transfer and convert and bring this back.
Yeah, they do a really good job of maintaining the close spawn. The streak's going to come through for Click, though. This is going to be huge. Everybody has to get off the point. Slayton's forced into tools here. His teammates finding the kills all around him, though, so he's good to get right back on the point. His 20 seconds will be huge. Bring themselves back in it, but you also have to start to turn your focus to the exit strategy. We saw Bama do it pretty well here, and Slan, just as I say it, doing exactly that. I love it. Pushing right on up, knows that this exit is going to be difficult, so do it early. They're able to kind of flip the spawns a little bit, maybe. Slan's just still in a big spot, though.
Slan has to take control of this bridge. Doesn't attend for Honcho to get into that platform. So Honcho now looking to set up this spawn kill. And you said you had that exit. That exit is not there anymore, Cam.
Yeah. They just
So this is good. This is starting to get dangerous for UTK Orange. Honcho setting up to watch this cross goose spot, but does get out of dark, but you just walk right into Matt Honcho's sights. Alistro does find the 2 to get onto the site. Slaying one-on-one against Matt Honcho, and he's going to come out 9-23, but a big win to keep UTK Orange alive.
Oh, a massive win, and you have to know these players are spawning up near green. The pre-nade from Slain, gonna be good to get some information. They know these players are in these power positions, but just keep hanging out down low. Honcho, that's a big one to get off the point. Everything else is gonna come right thereafter. The cookie crumbles. Bama's back onto it. This 25 seconds will put them seconds away from winning the game, and for UTK, starting to get desperate.
Very desperate indeed. Blake around the corner has some help from K2K. Does get cleared up on the site. 14 seconds. Still unattested from either team. You have to be worried about this P5 because the middle of the map is dominated by Bama Crimson at the moment, and UTK Orange even struggling to get onto the floating tank, so let alone cross over to the P5 threshold. Revives the big one-on-one against Honcho to make it happen, get that exit. Now it's time to convert for UTK Orange, and you have to play perfect COD from now on.
Yeah, and it felt like they were spawning up by P3. They still are. It feels like forever now. Revise is the one who gets the parallel spawn, though, so he could be in a big spot to set up the pin. It's exactly what he needs to do. His teammates there on the other end to find the kills. They're back onto the point. This one's not over just yet. You got Bama Crimson spawning out.
Now it's a big time for UTK. You cannot give up this point at all. You have that flank coming in through breaks. Honcho takes down Slayin. Revive's going to look for that, but he takes his eyes away from Click, so now you're going to hop back on the site. Only 2 more seconds. You get the kills, and that is not what UTK needs at the moment. The hops off the hill, and Bama Crimson and Map 4, they are going to keep their winners bracket series alive.
Yeah, it feels like they really put some things there going into that search and destroy. Almost a bit of a wake-up call to lose map 1, and ever since, they just didn't look back. Honcho, huge. Everybody really Click. Massive game here. And I mean, Nix and Honcho, this isn't their first rodeo in the CCL playoffs, so they have a little bit of experience. It's obviously showing there for UTK. It's a good performance. The slaying power was just there for Crimson, I think, overall. And I mean, you made it interesting in that Garrison hardpoint, but I think some of those rotations, just the timing of it, you go back and watch some of that stuff, when you go from 2 to 3, I think those are some of those moments where you really, unfortunately, just have to chalk that last 30 seconds on P2 and just focus to P3. It's one of those hills where if you push the emphasis a little too close, you could end up spawning out. It was just a tough go there for UTK.
I mean, I said it. I said UTK, they just had to speak with their guns. And Bama Crimson was just a little bit louder throughout that series. As soon as that raid hardpoint was gone, like you said, it lit a fire under Bama Crimson that just couldn't be put out. UTK Orange, they tried their best, but in a 3-1 standing, they are going to fall to that losers bracket to try to make the run happen. And you even say there's a little bit of history behind this Bama Crimson squad. They did make top 8 last year in the CCL, but that was through a losers bracket run. The fact that they're doing this in winners bracket is feeling a lot better for this squad. So we can take a little bit of a look at this bracket. We can see where Bama Crimson is going to walk into. And I have to say that this matchup that they have ahead of them, take a look at who's next up on their list. They got Concord Maroon just coming off a 3-1 against the Ryerson Rams. And having Bama Crimson going up against this team is definitely going to be a tell for how their playoff is going to go big. This is going to be a tough opponent. And honestly, I have Concord Maroon going through this. This is just not looking good for Bama Crimson in the winners quarterfinals.
Yeah, that'll be a real measuring stick game for sure. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Concord Maroon are tough to stop right now. They're undefeated on the year. It's not going to be easy for Bama Crimson, but at least you get that extra round advancement. So now if you do go into the losers bracket, you'll be in a little bit better of a position. So I think it's definitely still a positive. Obviously, you want to win the games. It's not going to get much easier as you go forward. Concord Maroon is a really, really good team. And then the match that's coming up next, I don't think has even been solidified. So we might be switching things up on the schedule a little bit. There's a lot going on in the CCL, and it was a great first match to watch there. I just think if Bama Crimson could bring that momentum, though, they could absolutely test Concord Maroon, no doubt. I mean, the way they were playing in those last 3 maps was something to marvel at.
There's lights out Call of Duty, so definitely Concord Maroon is going to have to step up their game against this squad. But feeling good going up against that Ryerson Rams. You do say take a look at the rest of the bracket, and definitely on our Delta stream, you had that hot 3-0 from Ottawa Gold over GVSU, and they're going to go up against SIUE Red now in that winners quarterfinals. You can take a look at that prediction, and I mean, over 99% of predictions favor Ottawa Gold. It doesn't surprise me at all, but SIUE Red making the dream run right now. They 3-0 UTD COD last night. They 3-0 CW Esports, and they just come off a 3-U against St. Clair Saints. So they're just having as much perfection as Ottawa Gold. And this is going to be a good matchup in the winners quarterfinals.
Yeah, we just saw Ottawa Gold completely stomp out a team in control, win a round by 26 lives. So it's tough to bet against them. But if there's the team to do it, I agree. I think it's SIUE Red. They have had a unbelievable Cinderella run throughout this entire year. They don't have a bad mode. Like the 3-0 over UTD COD Orange was a big time statement win last night. I really think they have a good search and destroy. They play well as a team. They're pacing everybody. The synergy there is really, really good. So I think if there's a team that could test Ottawa, it's probably that SIUE Red team. That's definitely one everybody should be circling and paying attention to.
And if you're wondering about the UTK Orange squad, they are going to drop into the losers round 4, top 24 placing for that losers bracket to make their run. They have a few games to go before they have to play an opponent, but definitely waiting for them to match up if you are a UTK fan. We take a look at the rest of this to see if anything is standing up. Finishing up on some games still in the losers round 2, top 48 to make it on into that top 32. A lot of teams are going to be going head to head for their sudden death matchups, Cam. But I have to say, college COD playoffs, we might just be into Saturday. This is absolute lights out COD from so many teams, some surprises, some upsets, some amazing Call of Duty. And if you guys if you guys want to show some love for yourself, you guys can go to thecollegecod.com and check out our armory, because our armory has something fancy on it, some merch for CCL. You guys asked for it. We wanted it. You wanted it. Well, now you have it. We've collaborated with Champion to bring you some fresh outfits that you can rep. The 2021 CCL Armory at collegecod.com/store. Go to it. We got hoodies, we got tees, we got joggers, hats, and polos for your business majors out there. It's going to be fantastic, and I hope to see you guys repping that CCL merch. Cam, did you get anything?
Oh, I got some stuff, no doubt, and I'm probably going back in to pick up the hat. I don't know why I haven't gotten the hat yet, because I definitely need that. This stuff is just so gas. Are you kidding me? The Champion collab? Unbelievable.
See, I'm not really a hat person, but if I was gonna wear a hat, I would wear the CCL hat. I would definitely wear the CCL hat if I was gonna wear any hat. That thing is fresh. I got the hoodie, I got the polo, so golf season's coming up, so I'm gonna be rocking that polo out on the green. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait to be able to represent the College COD League. It's definitely fantastic at that. And I mean, Cam, any finishing thoughts on these two teams?
No, I mean, I just think that, it was a great showing for Bama. I think they really are one of those dark horse teams where they can find momentum if they're clicking, if they're playing at when they're playing at their best, they can compete with anybody, and you definitely saw that here today. It was a bit of a wake up there in the first one to lose that. The way they retaliated was really, really impressive, winning 6 straight in the search, then 3 straight in the control. I think that is just really impressive, and their front line is really what dictates how they're going to play day in and day out. If those submachine gun players are clicking, if they're hitting their shots, look out, they're a force to be reckoned with. But for UTK Orange, the road is not over just yet. They'll go down to losers, and this is still a great team, well-rounded. They still have a chance to make a run as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the College COD Bravo stream is going to be right back. We're going to have our next matchup up soon, so stay tuned for some more Bravo action.